hello. The only woman that makes, let's see, let's wear the glasses so we can respect ourselves. That makes red attractive in every aspect. Thank you. I try, even in writing. Even in writing. Yeah, those we did some bold red fonts and all the packages today. Happy Thursday to you as well. Hi everyone. Happy Thursday. Is it just me or this month is just like today is what, the 23rd? Like it's just a week left in October. But we thank God. Come on in, everybody. Come on in, say hello. 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 Good evening, good evening. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Let's see. Yeah. Hi, TikTok family. It's amazing. Some people just come in and they don't even say hello, nothing. It's just, this is my question. Not hello, what's going on? That's one of my pet peeves in life. It's how we love you, keep going too forward. What did they do now? Because what is New Year's frozen and stuff? New Year's. Well, I haven't seen New Year's, but Christmas. I think I said it like, what, 2 weeks ago? Either last week or 2 weeks ago. Went to Lowe's, I think it was last week. And I'm like, okay, why do we have Christmas decoration all over Lowe's? Was it last week? Yeah, it was last week or 2 weeks ago. It was just something that just did not make any sense why we should have Christmas decorations. We've not even, well, Halloween is not really considered a holiday, but we've not even done, well, the kids have not done Halloween. Do y'all think that if you like all those Halloween costume stuff that it may have, now, but listen, we don't judge. I'm very African there's some things that I'm just still very, very superstitious about. Like wearing all those costumes and it's like, okay, you don't know what spirit is in this costume. Anybody? Am I the only, they have New Year's photo pros, they have this 2026. Are you serious? Are you serious? I think people are just done with 2025. Like, let it come, hurry up and go. But for Halloween, like any other parent feels like things like you see all those witches and wizards and all those. Now I get the character and toy characters or movie characters or those animations and all that, but there's some of those costumes they are like, hey, more you're spiritual. Like, why would you like to keep? Like, am I the only one who thinks that way? I'm sure I'm not the only African or Caribbean mother who thinks that way. Because you just don't know. Some of those things look really scary. Where those are the kind of things that they use in those Yoruba movies where let's just leave it alone. Just come on in, everyone. Let's leave it alone. Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday. Come on in. I hope you've had. I buy them toy characters and never get them. The witchy ones. That's what I used to do. But now my baby is 15, so it's like whatever. Let him wear whatever he wants to wear. Hey, Blue Trillions, how are you? If he decides to wear, now there's some things I won't let him wear, like no witches and witches, that kind of thing. But this is Attorney Abisola Adepola Olale Samuel, immigration attorney based in Alabama, representing immigration clients in all 50 states. If you've got an immigration case, if it's a case that we handle, will be glad to represent you. So I'm telling you, I don't think there's any day I do consultations and someone doesn't say, like, hey, you are based in Alabama. How does that work? Do you have to get licensed? Do I have to get a lawyer that's licensed in my state? No, immigration is federal practice. So if as long as if it's a case that we handle, it doesn't matter what state you live in, we'll be glad to represent. We're able and we'll be glad to represent you, regardless of your state of residency. Because now there's some things that are filed based on the states that you live in, but as long as an attorney is licensed in any state and the practice immigration, then that attorney can represent you regardless of where you live, actually. But so contact our office, 334-341-4475. Join our live sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone, every other time zone, Pacific, Mountain, whatever. I don't know. Ask, put on, but seriously, put it on Google. It will tell you what it would be in your time zone. But follow, like, share, subscribe at Olale Immigration. I know. Hey, Miss Nileji, how are you? Welcome in. Yes, you're ready today. I hope you've had a blessed week so far. Follow, like, share, subscribe at Olale Immigration. Be sure to share this video. Be sure to share. You just never know. And really, we say that all the time, but that's the truth. You just never know who will benefit from listening to any of this, free immigration information and sharing that. But anyway, let's talk immigration, y'all. Let's talk immigration. If you are joining us for the first time, we go live every Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9:30 p.m. like I said, and we do questions as many as much as possible every time we come on live. I try to take as many questions. Some nights we do just questions, like every third live we do questions. But if you have any question, put them in the comment section. If we have some time left, then I will go through the questions. I'll answer the questions. Keep in mind, responses to questions are only general information in nature, so nothing specific to anyone's case. We are, however, having a promotion going on for the month of October. I'm still trying to figure out what else I want to do this month. Celebrating our 10th year anniversary of the Olale Law Firm. Olale Law Firm established October 2015, and with God's grace and His mercy and favor, we're still going strong, and we'll continue to go strong for many decades to come. In Jesus' name, so shall it be. So we have a 10-year anniversary promotion going on for the 30 minutes option. So it's normally $140 for the month of October. It is $110. Take advantage of that while it lasts. Yes, by November 1st, it's going to go back to the regular fee. But let's talk immigration, y'all. Let's talk immigration. So the one thing that we've seen quite a bit recently, especially with this new asylum fee payment and all that, is the increase in USCI scheduling asylum interviews. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about, should you withdraw your asylum case? Now, I think it was either today or yesterday, listen, as we talked about on Tuesday, rather than them employing people or hiring more hands to work at their USCIS offices, they're busy in the streets chasing, undocumented immigrants and detaining people. The priorities are messed up. But anyway, one of the things that I try to keep up with the news, they are really going in on people who are filing frivolous, applications, especially when it comes to asylum. And I think they're doing more. They're trying to get as many interviews. So if you had your case that was filed like in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, you're going to be seeing more of those cases not being scheduled for interviews. Yes, there are cases that are just newly filed that are being scheduled for interviews, but they're trying to not catch up with all those cases that were filed back then. So for instance, some of my cases that we filed in 2019 through 2021, we've had, I think, 4 cases now so far that have been scheduled for. I had one last week that was already completed. We have 4 that have been scheduled for interview within the last 2 weeks. So don't be surprised if you see that. But another reason that they're getting these cases, trying to get these cases out or adjudicated, they're doing more investigation as to filing of asylum application. So I know there was a post either yesterday or today that USCIS put up about someone that was arrested because they filed quite a number of asylum applications on behalf of immigrants, and they claim that those asylum applications were actually frivolous and fraudulent applications. So let's talk about whether or not you have any reason to withdraw your asylum application. A lot of people come into the country And most of the time, especially when you are when you live amongst street lawyers, some kind of street lawyers, and making Daruka on state stuff also, but let's just leave it alone. Then you come in and you're like, okay, I really don't want to go back to my country. Not necessarily that you don't have that you have a fear of returning or a fear of harm if you go back to your country and you say, okay, got everybody in Shinike and Macau's okay. The day I found out that, so I didn't even know that's what, am I not supposed to say? But anyway, I didn't even know that was a term, Yoruba people use. So someone told like a slash him like I literally did not know. And she goes, no, I don't know what y'all all these terms. How am I supposed to know? But anyway, so a lot of people come in, and that's what street lawyers will tell you: go file for asylum. It keeps you here, you get a work permit, yada yada yada. But nobody tells you the reality of what happens when you finally get scheduled for an interview. Would you have enough credible evidence to proceed with your case and increase your chances of USCIS or the immigration court granting your asylum case? So if you are someone who came in and you really do not have any basis to have filed your case to start with, then you may be asking yourself the question of, should you withdraw your asylum case? But before you make a decision to withdraw your case, know what the potential consequences can be. Know what the potential consequences. Now I'm talking about, hey, Ms. Savannah, I'm talking about having your case with USCIS. Withdrawing your case from court, that's because you don't withdraw that, you can actually file a motion to terminate. The court is different. We're talking about withdrawal with USCIS now. If you know that you didn't have a solid ground for asylum, you may be considering withdrawing your case. But before you do that, how are you? Be sure that you've got an alternative to withdrawing your case. So, are you getting married? Or are you considering withdrawing your case because you're getting married and you know that you didn't actually have a strong basis to file the asylum case in the first place? Are you withdrawing your case because you're just scared that if they schedule you for an interview, you don't necessarily have any evidence to support your case? You have to start with, what is the basis of your withdrawal? Are you withdrawing your case because you have another case that is pending and you want to see how that case ends up? Now, if you withdraw your asylum case, say for instance, you have a marriage case that is pending, and then you decide to withdraw your asylum case. It used to be in previous administrations that you could withdraw your case without and with proof that you've got a pending marriage case, marriage case that's ongoing and all that. And for the most part, they wouldn't even bother. They would just withdraw it and just leave you alone. They won't refer you to immigration court. Things are different now. If you withdraw your case and you've got no fallback status, meaning you don't have any valid non-immigrant status, or in spite of you having a pending marriage-based case and all that, that does not prevent USCIS from still issuing you a notice to appear in immigration court. Let me say that again. Even if you've got an alternative to your pending asylum case, an example would be you've got a pending marriage case. Now, I'm not saying in all circumstances now, but we are saying that if you withdraw a pending asylum case, in spite of having a valid marriage case that's still ongoing, because you don't have a pending marriage case is not a lawful status. It's an authorized stay, meaning that you've got an I-485 that authorizes you to stay in the country while your case is pending. It does not prevent USCIS from still referring you to immigration court. And so if you are in a situation where under this administration, withdrawing your asylum case, even with a pending marriage case, does not prevent USCIS from issuing you an NTA to now appear in immigration court. So you've got to consider those the potential consequences of you withdrawing your asylum case. So if you're looking at it and saying, hey, I don't have a strong basis, the next question to ask yourself is, if you withdraw your case, what are your options? If you do not have, so let's start with number one. Number one, if you do not have an alternative to you to that asylum case pending, then you're not in a position to withdraw your case, because that would be an outright refer to immigration court. I mean, if you don't mind me referring to immigration, being referred to immigration court, great. An example would be someone who has been here for 10 years and they feel they have a better shot at filing for cancellation removal in court than with their asylum application, then that's different. If you're not in that category and you just don't have anything else that's ongoing, then you want to hold on to your asylum case unless you know it's just outright frivolous, meaning you had no basis filing the asylum case to start with. Then you may be better off just going to take your chances in court. Because if USCIS makes a conclusion that you filed a frivolous asylum application, it can't actually prevent you from getting any other immigration benefit. So, people just telling people file for asylum, they're like, that's great. You get a work permit, get social security. Oh, awesome. However, nobody talks about what the potential consequence can be if USCIS makes a conclusion that it was a frivolous application. So if you are in the boat with, in that kind of boat where you came in, you don't have any fear of persecution, but somebody, drafted a story for you, submitted that to USCIS, and now you've got absolutely no clue what your story contained, what your file was, what was written on your behalf. You're not, the worst mistake you can make is now go into have an interview scheduled and go into that interview without a FOIA request, especially because most people don't even know how, or can't even contact whoever the preparer was. So your best bet is getting a FOIA request done. Get a copy of your file. If your file is not strong enough and you know you're better off in court, maybe with a cancellation removal, rather than risk the conclusion that it was a frivolous application, then you want to take that risk. If you're withdrawing your case because now, I'm sure everybody knows that USCIS, if your case is, if you have an asylum case and it's been pending for at least a year, everyone is not going to be required to pay the annual $100 annual asylum fee. Most people are going to fall in that category. And we're also seeing that as you make that payment, they are also following up with scheduling interviews. So if you get scheduled for an interview, like your case has been pending 2016, 2017, you get scheduled for an interview. If you've got you still have an opportunity to add to your evidence to make your case as strong as possible. That's number one. If you get scheduled for an interview and you have a pending case, say you have a marriage-based case, you can actually ask USCIS to reschedule your asylum case. So that gives you time to see how your marriage case goes. You can also ask them to hold your asylum application. And I want to be very clear on this. These are things we could do easily under previous administrations. These are different now. So there's no guarantee that they would actually honor your request. But these are still options that you have. So if you have a case, an ongoing marriage case, you can ask them to reschedule your interview. Sometimes specifically, I'll ask for a year out or 6 months out. It will just depend on the asylum office. Some of them will grant you, some of them will just still reschedule you for like the next 2 months or thereabout. And so that gives you time, that buys you time to be able to see what happens in your marriage case. Now, keep in mind that every time you make a request to reschedule your asylum hearing, it is going to stop your asylum clock. Basically, it's going to put a pause on how quickly you can either file for initial work authorization, or if you're going to be eligible to renew your work authorization based on when your clock starts to run again. Now, if you have a marriage-based case, for instance, and you obviously can get a C9 work permit from that marriage case, then I won't worry much about that. I'd rather that your asylum clock is on pause and you're not referred to immigration court than to take the risk of moving forward with it if it's not a strong case when you have an alternative to that. So the fact that you get scheduled for an interview doesn't necessarily mean that, and you have a marriage-based case, doesn't mean that you want to go ahead and withdraw your case. Keeping in mind that in spite of having that marriage case, it does not prevent USCIS from issuing you an NTA to appear in immigration court, regardless of whether or not you have a pending I-130, I-485 with USCIS. It used to be that was back in the day. Right now, They're just doing whatever they want to do. So just to put things in perspective, do not withdraw your, so in other words, in a nutshell, do not withdraw your asylum case without making sure you know what your alternatives are. A lot of people are being scheduled for interviews now. If you get scheduled for an interview, first of all, if you have no lawyer in your case, you want to consult with one so that you can have that evaluation done. Now you've been scheduled for an interview. Is it time to withdraw your case? Before you withdraw your case, what is the alternative? Is a withdrawal of your asylum application going to lead to you being placed in removal proceedings? If that's going to lead to removal proceedings, then you may be better off just going ahead with your asylum interview. Let them make a decision, and whatever this decision is, you move forward from there. If you're looking to withdraw your case because you have a pending marriage-based case and you want to see how that goes, and you have an interview scheduled, you can request that the asylum office reschedule your interview, or for them to hold up rescheduling it because you want to see how your marriage case will go. We could easily do that in previous administrations. This time around, it would just solely depend. It is discretionary, and it will depend on your asylum office. If you know that your asylum case is completely built on, on truth, for lack of a better phrase, and you're not going to be able to prove it, that you can't prove it, or you don't even know anything about your story. If they ask you, if you get to your interview, they ask you questions about your case, you can't even give a complete story because you have no clue what was even indicated in your story. You want to make sure you reschedule your interview, do a FOIA request, and then know what's in your case before you decide if it's a case you have to withdraw or if it's a case you have to move forward with. But whichever way, whatever situation you're in, whatever category you fall in, it depends on what your situation is before you decide if you're going to withdraw your case. We can't just withdraw cases like we used to do back then. This has to be calculative, and you have to know what your strategy is in making sure that it's not something that you end up in immigration court and you don't have a base, or you don't have an application for relief that's going to be an alternative to that. So I hope I'm making some sense here, because I know I've been getting quite a number of consults with people paying their asylum fee, and then shortly after making the payment of the asylum fee, they're getting their interview scheduled, and you're like, okay, well, I have a pending marriage case, but so what do I do? Should I withdraw this, or what do I do? No, you do not want to withdraw. You want to ask them to reschedule. You want to ask them to put it on pause so that you can see what's going to happen in your case. All in all, make sure you are aware of what is in your asylum application. If you do not know, and you know it's going to lead to a conclusion that it was a frivolous application, then in situations like that, and you've been here at least 10 years, in situations like that, you may be better off withdrawing it and then applying for cancellation removal in court. It's going to be fact specific. It depends on each person's case. But before you withdraw your asylum application, know what the potential consequences can be, and whether you have an alternative to withdrawing that case before you make that decision. Because once you withdraw it, you cannot tell them to reinstate your case. A withdrawal is final. That's it. You would have to start all over again, and then you're going to be dealing with whether you're not outside the 1 year statutory period that is required for you to file an asylum case. So if you are in a situation where you're trying to make a decision between withdrawing your asylum application or maybe you should leave it or you should withdraw it, depending on what your situation is, we'll be glad to evaluate your case. If you've never had any insight into your asylum application, do a FOIA request of your records. Submit it electronically to USCIS. It's taking out upwards of about 60 to 90 days now, but they'll send you a copy of your file, so at least you know what was submitted on your behalf. The last thing you want to do is to go for your interview, for your asylum interview, without any inclination as to what you submitted, because then it's going to be an easy conclusion by USCIS that it was a frivolous application. So I hope that's made some sense tonight, and hopefully that helps. If you still need some clarity about your specific case, please contact our office 334-341-4475, and we'll be able to evaluate your case on your behalf. That's all she wrote, y'all. Just wanted to talk about that real quick, and hopefully that gives some that helps to some extent. Okay, what's the time? All right, that was. Let me take some questions before, because even by me, people. Are there people who actually cook every evening? Like, do y'all? Are there people who actually make, like, you make dinner for your family every evening? Like, you cook lunch. Well, most people work, but dinner. Do you cook? Like, is there anyone who? Hello, Miss Olamide, who actually cooks every evening? Like, can I move in with you? Because it became coming back. All right. Okay. Question. Responses to your questions are general information, nothing specific to anyone's case. Please do not repeat your questions. Repeated questions are going to be skipped altogether. I won't even waste my time. So, okay. I just said don't repeat your questions. Providence, blah, blah, blah. Don't repeat your questions. I'm not really sure why people do this. I really don't know. But anyway, okay. Olaiwala, good evening. I got annoyed, but found testimony to be credible. But because I traveled home, wow, in God's name, would you travel back to the country where you say you fear persecution? Please, no. Why in God's name would you've got a pending asylum application? Why would you travel to the same country you're seeking protection from, regardless of how credible your case is? So that just tells USCIS that, hey, I may have a credible case, but the fear isn't to the point where my life is in danger because I can easily go into that country and come back. Unless you can show was for an emergency, was for a necessity, was well. So what's your question? What's your question on it? All right, I found my I-130 12 months ago as a U.S. citizen for my wife and no update from USCIS. Should I contact them or is this normal? I think we talked about processing time on Tuesday. So everyone has, you've got a computer, you've got a smartphone or whatever, access a computer, the internet. Before you make any contact with USCIS, go on uscis.gov/processing time, put in your information. You would let you put in your priority dates, your receipt date, and it would tell you whether or not your case is still within normal processing time. If your case is still within normal processing time, there is no reason for you to be hollering at USCIS. Just leave them alone. If it's outside normal processing time, then yes, you can make an request. You can call them. You can seek congressional assistance request, all the 9 yards. But that's the first place to stop. It's asking a question about is this normal or how long something is taking. I'm not going to respond to that because everybody can easily go look at processing time and see how long something is going to take based on your case time. Okay. So if I skip your question about how long, that will be the reason, because we can all go on there and see what's in. Now I can tell you if your question is about VAWA, that's taking, it's not up to 44 months because I do quite a bit of that. So I'm very, very obsessive with that because it's like, okay, when is he going back to 32 months? But he hasn't been 32 months since God knows when. Yeah. Happy Thursday, Mr. Usman. Okay, hey, Miss Delia, how are you? It's been a minute. Oh, sorry to hear my purse was stolen along with my LPR card. Am I eligible to file for N400? What should I don't know if you're eligible. How long have you been a green card holder for? Okay, let's see. Once again, disclaimer, just general information. I submitted a request to remove me from my asylum after I got my, thank you for even bringing that. So should I withdraw my asylum case? Another reason or one final reason to withdraw your case, obviously, would be once you get your green card. Now, I guess I didn't bring it up because generally when you get your green card, especially if you get a green card through marriage and all of that, USCIS will actually send you a notice on their own. They'll send you a notice saying, hey, our records show that what we have reason to believe, our records show that you have been afforded or accorded legal permanent residency status. You can respond and let us know if you want to continue with your asylum application. If we haven't heard from you in 30 days, we're going to close out your case, yada, yada, yada. So that will be another basis to withdraw your case. But for the most part, USCIS will send you a notice. And if you don't do anything in 30 days, they'll close out your case. Okay. So yes, that will be a reason to submit a request to withdraw it. How do I bring my two siblings to the U.S. as a citizen? You can file an I-130 for them, but it would take no less than 15 to 17 years. Okay, let's see. I will book an appointment. Okay, no problem, Miss Linear. Can I apply for an NIW green card living in the UK? You can apply for an NIW petition from anywhere in the world, but you'll be in two parts. You'll have to apply for the I-140, but you have to file. You can apply anywhere in the world, but you have to file it with USCIS here. So the petition has to be filed with USCIS. And then once that is approved, so you don't have to be physically present in the United States to qualify for an NIW petition, but it has to be filed. So you have a contact to file it, either you through an attorney or you have someone who you can use to file it here for you. When they approve the I-140 petition, then they'll forward your file to the consulate or embassy, and then you apply for an immigrant visa at the embassy. Okay, let's see. 905. Let's see. It's been a great week. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. It's been a great week. Yeah, we're doing Instagram. Okay, let's see. I'm very hungry tonight. I don't know why. My red, bold red. All right, let's see. Yeah, before you know it, what am I even talking about? I was coming home earlier this evening, and because now it's getting dark. When is daylight savings? I think Tia was telling me it's not this weekend. I think it's the next weekend. But it's, now we're in longer nights, shorter days. So I was coming out on my subdivision. So I'm not nosy, but sometimes I just want to see what's going on around me. And I noticed that one of my neighbors actually has their Christmas tree up. They literally have the Christmas tree up. Like, am I missing something like this? Like, Christmas is still like over 2 months away, right? Anyway, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah, so 2026 decoration, that's another level. That's another level right there. Someone wanted to be the wicked witch, the spiritual Nigerian. It means shouted no. You start to bind and cast everything away. Bind and cast everything like, no, we ain't doing that. It's just something about it being raised in our culture. Like there's some things like, we don't do that. Hello, Mr. Luko. How are you? Let's see. Hello, sis. Again, I guess y'all have been meeting behind my back. Okay. Hello, my number, Lee. Hello, Mr. Kelvin. How are you? Bless you, baby. Hello, my finest friend. Oh, absolutely. Sorry. Sorry. No. Sorry. Yeah, that was going to be my next question to her. Is she in town, or is she harassing that young man again? We need to keep tabs on her for real. She's okay. Oh, moving. Okay. No wonder she's in town. That's why she's in town. Hello, Misaki. How are you? How are you? Good to hear from you. How have you been? Okay, let's see. There's still government shutdown going on. USCIS is not affected by that though. We haven't heard anything on our end, Misaki, so fingers crossed. Praying for favor. 2nd of November. Okay, so that's a week from Saturday. Okay, well, a week. Is it Saturday or Sunday? So Sunday. So that's a week from Sunday. Sunday. Okay, yeah. Okay. I told you some of them are just waiting for November 1st to put their trees up. Some people. Okay, so you're one of them. No, I have a neighbor whose Christmas tree is because I could see through their windows. Like, am I missing something? Like last year, I actually got mine up in November, and I think that was the earliest time I've ever had my tree up. And I think it was one of the weekends my oldest kid was home. I was like, let's just tackle this and be done. But I see it as a listen. My kids are much older. Like I was the one who killed Santa at some point. I think Tiggy was about 9 or 10. I was just tired of all those Santas coming through the chimney and putting cotton balls. Like I have too much OCD to be doing all that kind of craziness. So I was like, you know what? Santa died. He said parents should take over. And that was a wrap. Did he cry? Yes. He's fine. We listen, we don't judge. Kilo fatty coming down. You think about it. You have this guy, this big guy in a fat suit, and you say he's coming down the chimney. Who only kids will believe that kind of BS story. So I would just kill Santa at the end of the day because I was tired. Just tired of all the nonsense. So I found my N400 after 5 years of getting my green card through my second marriage. I had my interview back in March 2023, but after the question the authenticity of your what was the okay. I have filed for divorce and the court has approved it. Please, how long does it take to file for my new wife? There is no time frame to file for a new person. It's not about how long your divorce was. It's about whether or not if you're still a green card holder, you can file for someone through marriage. If you got your green card through marriage, you can file for someone else for marriage within 5 years, unless you're ready to prove your case all over again. But once you become a citizen, then you're fine. TJ. Yeah, it's usually on Sundays. She's gonna financial is no. Leave the young man alone. Let him invite you. I don't even know how this. Some of us mothers raise your hand if you know. I think it was a month ago. I was heading to. I think I was heading to where my oldest kid goes to college. I was like, hey, and I just popped him. I'm like, hey, I'm in town. He goes, I didn't know you were coming. I didn't have to tell you I'm coming. I'm here. Let's go do lunch. He was like, well, it is what it is. Okay, question authenticity of your Nigerian divorce from your first marriage. It's been over a year and I haven't heard from them. What should I do now? Contact them and see. Now, like we talked on Tuesday, with this, you should not that you should be afraid, but you should be cautious about being frequently contacting USCIS just so you don't make them mad. But if you feel that there was no now again, and I think I've done a video on this, we're seeing them reviewing a lot of green card application cases when people file for naturalization. So it's not out of, and if you're Nigerian, God help you, because they will pull up your. I had a case where and I think it was part of the video that I did, that they literally said in the NOID that even if, and this is just paraphrasing, even if you're able to show that your divorce document came from a competent court, or what, we still have reason to doubt the authenticity of your document, because we've been told by the Department of State that Nigerian documents are kind of fraudulent, something along those lines. So in other words, just merely being a Nigerian is a potential red flag for them when it comes to. So they are reviewing divorce documents when you file for naturalization. If you don't think there's anything wrong with it, you can contact them and see, maybe that would set things in motion. Seek congressional assistance request, but keep in mind that if they decide and conclude that the document is questionable and they should not have approved the green card to start with, then they may not just only deny your citizenship application, they may reopen your green card application altogether and try to revoke that or rescind that. It would just depend on how long you've had it for. She's waiting for me. Finally, Shandy, I said what I said. Leave the young man alone. Let him even enjoy his girlfriend. You're going to chase all these girlfriends. Am I live with girlfriends alone now? Raise your hands if you're like that. No, it's just what it is. People always tell me, "Oh, you keep waiting, the girlfriend." Well, how am I stopping them? Oh, not them. How am I stopping him? I'm just being a mom. There's no crime to being a mom. Girlfriend or no girlfriend, I'm going to be very, very present in their lives. So let the girlfriend know. Yeah, we come as a package deal. I am a citizen and I got my citizenship through the military. Okay. All right. So since you're a citizen, there's no time frame for now. Each state has their own time frame to get married. That was the one thing I'll tell you to take note of. For instance, in Alabama, once you get divorced, you cannot remarry someone else for at least 60 days unless you are remarrying the person you just got divorced from. And if you want to do that, but unless you're doing that, then you can't remarry for 60 days. So it just depends. Some states don't have any waiting period at all. You have refused us going now. Hello, Mr. Harry. No, we'll go. Just leave the young man alone. Okay. Let's see. Already answered that. 917. I-130 was approved and the I-45 is pending. Cannot file for their kids. Whose kids? Can I go to Nigeria with 10 years green card? Anything about travel? Direct those questions to your attorney or sit down with one to make sure you're aware of what potential, if there's any potential consequence to be aware of. I have I-751 waiver with divorce. Can I apply for citizenship and the rest with dismissal charges? Sit down with a lawyer, Mr. Usman. Hello, Miss Mikey. How are you? Can I apply with just one tax year that shows the minimum needed to sponsor, or you need 2 years? So a lot of people always think that you need to submit 3 years of your taxes in order to file your affidavit of support. You don't. You need the most. If you read the instructions for I-864, you have to include your most recent tax year, but the 3 years is optional. There's no requirement. In fact, I don't think in 10 years, I don't think we've ever included 3 years of taxes in any case. I don't think I've ever done that. It's just always been the most recent. So if it's the most recent, that's really all you need, really. If you have 2 years, that's fine, but I don't do more than the most recent year. We are located in Alabama, but we represent immigration clients in all states. Can I file for my parent as a green card or the permanent resident? No, you cannot. Let's see. I filed to remove conditions from my green card for 2 years. No response from USCIS. Yes, it's taking a while. That's why you would have received the 48-month extension, because it's taking them a while. So that's why a lot of people would rather file for citizenship once they qualify, because that helps to fast track your I-751. Okay. What's always? Did I miss something? Please, I want to book an appointment with you. Not any content. 334-341-4475. But the fastest way is to go on our website, olalayalawfirm.com, OLALEYE lawfirm.com, and we're actually doing a promotion for 30 minutes option for this month. So, or call my office when we're open. We're open 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, Central Standard Time. Hello, Mr. Taiwo. How are you? Hello, Miss Amarachi. How are you? Okay. Oh, thank you, Mr. Le Sanctuary. Oh, thank you. Alrighty. Okay. I think those are all the. You're welcome. You're absolutely welcome. So, and again, like I said on Tuesday, if your case is still within normal processing time, please leave those folks alone. Just leave them alone. No stress. Do not just put the wrong limelight on your case. Just leave it alone. Hello, Miss Basayo. How are you? I work with Walmart. Their Christmas tree is up already on Sunday. Are you serious? I saw it in Lowe's, but they had a lot of Christmas decorations. But I actually have a neighbor whose Christmas tree is up. I can understand the stores, right? But it's October 23rd. Christmas is still over 2 months away. Like my tree. I need to even change my tree this year, because I have a white tree. That white is now beige. Releasing, we don't do it like this. But she stored it. No, it's not how I stored it. And it may be because last year we found out that there was. So we taped but where we stored it was closer to where air was, and then there was a part of the box that was open. And my boss was like, "Are you buying a new one?" No. Listen, there's some things I can splurge on. Christmas tree is not one of them. I'm very Ijebu when it nobody's going to notice whether it's white or not. I think I have some photos from last year. If you look on my personal page on Instagram, you will see that, but you will not even know there was anything wrong with it, because by the time you cover it with a whole lot of red, you won't know that there was some part of it was patchy beige. Who cares? It's a lot of colors on it, and the light comes on, you forget that it's not even white until it's time to take it down. That's the one part. I love to decorate. I love. That's the one thing I love about Christmas, holiday season. I love to decorate. Now my kids are much older, which is great. So I don't do anything beyond star showers on the outside. My house is white, so it's really nice on that. And then my Christmas tree. Now I go to town with that. But the part that is not what I look forward to is the taking down the tree and the decoration. I think I'm going to pay someone to do it. But the thing is, you can pay someone to do it, but then it's like, okay, they won't know where to put. But my boys actually help. They're. Thank you. They help. They actually do help. They just don't know where to put it. Like, okay, where does this go? Like, let's leave it, separate them, and we'll go. That's the part I just don't care. And how beige it is. It is half white, half beige. Yeah. So I have the spray actually. I actually got the spray from Walmart, but I was like, why stress myself when I'm going to cover it? That it's not gold. If it was gold, it's beige. But I was like, by the time we're done, the whole thing was covered in red and silver and green and a whole lot of there was no. The only thing you could see that was white was like at the bottom of it. Like, it's not. That's it. End of story. Hello, Mr. Akwaemi. How are you? So that took care of that. I should file for citizenship instead of waiting for USCIS to remove conditions. Not instead. While you're waiting, if you qualify, for instance, if you filed your if you're still, well, you said divorce waiver, so you're waiting 5 years. So if you get to if you're filing divorce waiver, then that means that you will have to be 5 years before you can file for citizenship. So 90 days before the 50th anniversary. Someone who is filing based on married union, so that would have been you've been a green card holder for at least 3 years, including the time as a conditional resident. If your case is still pending, then you can submit a citizenship application while that is pending, not in place of it. You still have to remove the conditions of your residency. If you've lived in Malaysia but you can't get a certificate of conduct like a police clearance letter, I'm thinking, would they deny you? Deny you what? Would they deny you what? You have an immigrant visa application pending. What exactly are you asking? Okay, all right. So I just got this fragrance that I just got it today, and I love it. I think that's one of my, I wouldn't say it's an addiction, it's an obsession at this point. I love to smell good. I love smelling good. Your visa, my visa, or you mean a U.S. visa? I mean, you're looking for like a police character letter when you're applying for an immigrant visa. So, and if you've lived, if that's one of the places you've lived, you're required to produce a police clearance letter or character letter from each of the places you've lived in. So it's a requirement. It's not an optional. It's not optional. It's a requirement. Okay, I think I'm loving this glasses. It's a different shade for me. Hello, Miss Adibao. How are you? Oh, that's also Miss Adibao. Or maybe this is mixed, but that's okay. Want to seek your advice and assistance regarding my immigration case. So if you want to put your question on here, that's great. But if you want to discuss something not publicly, then you can go on our website to schedule your consultation. This is my free version of consult. You would have to pay, so you can go on our website, olalayalawfirm.com, to schedule one. You are welcome. Yes, you are welcome. But so you have to make an attempt to get it. You just have to get it. There'll be someone, and sometimes you may have people who, the agents may be able to do that. Just do some research and you should be able to get some information. Okay. All right, people. All right. I guess those are all the questions for tonight. Things are dying down a little bit, in a sense of they're not as crazy as they were when this administration first started back in January and all that. Are they still detaining people? Are they still being belligerent and just yes. But so we're still going to it doesn't stop you from filing what you need to file. The cases are still being approved. People are still having interviews. Things are still going as they should, because at the end of the day, they can do whatever they want. They still have to follow the law. So, I mean, they will break it to some extent, as we've seen. But the one thing I would just want everybody to take away is just be careful about who you allow to represent you. If you're not sure someone is an attorney, this is not the time you want to cut corners and all that. Yeah, some states that I can imagine. So there's some states, but the thing is that states are fighting back as well. So I think that's the difference. That's the difference we're seeing. States are fighting back. They want to blame it on Democrats, which is easy for them. But part of why there's a shutdown is, I mean, when you guys have already expended your resources and you're wondering why they can't agree on the budget. Well, make it make sense when your priorities are completely messed up. But we'll keep praying. We'll keep praying. I say, what can I do on a delayed I-751 after interview? If you haven't filed for citizenship and you qualify, file for citizenship. They would have to make a decision on that. All right. But anyway, so in spite of what they're trying to do, which is to instill fear in people, and make you afraid and all that. There's a reason why we're all here, because God made it possible for us to be in this country, and He brought you here. And there's nothing God starts that He does not finish. So we just keep believing and trusting that God is in control of everything, and what He has started in our lives, He will complete. So once again, if there's any way we can help you in your immigration case, reach out to us 334-341-4475, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you for joining as always. Bye, everybody.